Oh, I'm sorry. I've been going crazy. I didn't take you off the mute button. I'm so sorry. Well, anyway, let's start this up again because I was muted on everything for so long. However, and I think I got a Steve Mason signing now. All right, so I'm going to start all over. Hey, what's going on, Dodgers Nation? We're back. Hey, that's 2 wins in a row. Look at that. 2 wins in a row for the Dodgers. I'm sorry, Instagram. You're going to have to hear me say this twice because now you should be able to hear me now because I have everything on. The mic's on. It's all wonderful. However, that's 2 wins in a row. I know it was a tough time in Cincinnati, but that's now 2 wins in a row, and they have they beat. And how they won these games are totally different than how you've been seeing them winning games in the past. Now you're seeing them win games by hitting with runners in scoring position. We'll get into all of that soon enough as it is. However, now this is a pennant race now, right? Now we are in a pennant race. We're 1 game back of St. Louis at the wild card, still 1.5 back of Colorado in the NL West, and this is where you are. Now you're in the middle of a fun pennant race. Look, this is sometimes you run away with divisions. Sometimes it's a crazy time. This is going to take us down all the way to the beginning of it's going to take us all the way down to the end of the year, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be adrenaline pumping good fun that it's going to be just a blast. I'm so excited, but this is fun for me. I know everybody's upset because they haven't been playing all that great, but this is going to be fun. We're going to get into Kenley Jansen in a minute because I have a lot of thoughts on Kenley Jansen, but for the most part, let's get in a little bit to what we want to talk about for this game. Because, look, my face may be red, and it's because my breath was being held that entire 9th inning because Kenley Jansen was crazy. All right, so I have these topics that I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to talk about the runners in scoring position and how they were playing in that. But I know it wasn't on there because it happened in the bottom of the 9th, but I have to talk about Kenley Jansen. I know he's not on my topic list, but Kenley Jansen has now pitched in back-to-back games in non-save situations when you still have 3 more games that they have to go up against St. Louis in St. Louis. You need him in other times. So for them, it's a very odd decision. I'm not sure what Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi were thinking because he only had 10 pitches yesterday. Fine. I understand you want to give him a little bit more work after those 10 pitches, but you need him Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can't expect this team to stick around with this runners in scoring position with the way that they have over so much time. You have to assume that he's going to be needed any of those days. So when you have Kenley Jansen in 2 games in a row, you don't normally see a closer in 3 games in a row. So there's a possibility that he's not available tomorrow and could possibly, at every game, as we all know and we talk about over and over again, every game is a must-win game, especially when you're fighting for your lives in the wild card and in the NL West. So to have Kenley Jansen pitch in a non-save situation again is disappointing to me. I don't like it. I love the win. I'm very happy, but I don't understand why you have Kenley Jansen pitched back-to-back games. I'm sure you have enough guys in your bullpen that with a 4-run lead, that you could be able to use somebody else in that situation. I didn't like it, but the win is the win, and he gave up 2 runs. Closers in non-save situations give up runs, and he did it again tonight. It's just how it is. I fight with this with Steve Mason all the time. Sometimes he's with me, sometimes he's against me, but for the most part, I think he agrees with me. All right, so let's get into the actual topics of what we're going to talk about. What you saw from this team is exactly what you saw yesterday in Cincinnati. You saw runners in scoring position throughout the game, and what they were doing, they were being more patient at the plate, and they were getting big hits. Manny Machado came up with some big hits. Chris Taylor, by the way, can we give it up for a little bit for Chris Taylor, who had 3 hits in this game? I believe it was either 2 or 3, but I don't have the stats in front of me. But I believe he had 3 hits in this game, who's looking really good. All of a sudden, he's shortened up his swing. He's not swinging for the fences anymore like he was years before. I think what's happening is that on Twitter, at Bergman Greg, by the way, at Bergman Greg, I said, I'm done with Chris Taylor. He's uppercutting everything, and he's becoming a guy that is just swinging for the fences every single time, and it's all this launch angle nonsense. That's not what he's been doing recently. I gave him crap for it. I said, I'm done with Chris Taylor. I was not done with Chris Taylor. I just wanted to say it. And he saw it. I know he saw it on Twitter. He follows me or he doesn't. I don't know. You decide. But he doesn't ever see that. But he did sit for 4 straight games. And in that time, since he's come back from those 4 straight games, he has actually had better at-bats where he is shortening up his swing. He's taking more pitches. He's walking more. He looks like the Chris Taylor that you expected to see for most of this year. So that was a big, for him being well. You saw Austin Barnes with a couple of hits. You see everybody is starting to get hot at the right time. Justin Turner has been the hottest player in baseball since the middle of August. You saw Chris Taylor's playing well. Manny Machado is actually getting a lot of hits. Since he's moved to the 3 spot, he's hitting much better. He hasn't been the best in big situations, but he has been good. He was great tonight with 3 hits. He had a home run, a double, a single, and a couple RBIs. So you can't really get upset with him. And David Freese. Can we just talk about that David Freese at bat in the first inning? That was an intense 14-pitch at-bat where he had a 2-run double. That was exactly what you get David Freese for, right? You bring him in because he just pounds lefties, and he takes at-bats. He knows the guys in St. Louis, and he against Gomber, he was fantastic. And that's part of the topics, too, is the Gomber-Kershaw thing that you have here. Gomber, you saw he was at around 30 pitches in the first inning, and that's such a huge thing for this Dodgers team. When they can get guys, he was over 60 pitches through 3 innings. So you are doing exactly what this Dodgers team is expected to do, and that is to have really long at bats, work the pitchers, and get to the bullpen, because the bullpens are never as good as your starters. Whenever you can get the starter out after 3-4 innings, you've done the right thing. They had to go to relievers in the 4th inning, and that's exactly what makes this Dodgers team so great when they are on. And right now, it seems that they are on because they're getting the hits with guys on second and third. That hasn't been happening all year. This is what everybody's been complaining about, right? They've been complaining about the fact that with runners in scoring position, the Dodgers can't hit. So because of that, we're all happy. We're all excited that the Dodgers are only 1 game back in the wild card and only 1.5 back still after that huge Colorado Rocky win. We are still, so let's raise our glasses of beer. I don't have beer in my hand right now, but I do have a water cup. So raise it. Give us a little 2-game win streak. That is a winning streak, people. Let's keep it going. All right. When you talk a lot, you have to drink a lot of water, so I'm going to have to do that often. All right, let's get into all of your questions. I'm going to start off over here in Facebook. Let's see what we got. Ryan Garish, my buddy. What's up, man? Machado made amazing play at shortstop tonight. There was a great play. I believe it was in the 5th inning or 6th inning where Clayton Kershaw had it bounce off his glove. He had to change directions. He went sideways, grabbed the ball, threw it over to first in just in time, and that was a great play. That's what you're getting from Machado. And someone asked me on Twitter a little bit ago, they asked me about whether or not what I think of Manny Machado and how he's been recently. And my response was, Manny Machado can be the best player on your team offensively and defensively. He showed it again tonight, that defensively especially and offensively, that he can be that guy. He hasn't really been that guy for a little while, but he, especially in the tight situations where you're talking about bottom of the 9th with the bases loaded and he's striking out. But since he's moved to the 3 spots behind Turner, he's hitting so much better 2-3 times a game. So that's where so Machado on the defensive end was great. I know in the 9th inning he had that chance for a double play and he threw the ball over Bellinger's head. However, he went for it, and even on the broadcast, Oral Hershiser said, "Look, I know what he did. He know it went over Bellinger's head, but I'm happy to see Machado going for that double play, trying to get out of the game right there." It just didn't work out. 2 runs scored. You had that leeway. It would have been terrible. If Matt Adams would have done what Matt Adams does and hit home runs. However, it didn't, and that was fantastic. So we're very, very happy with what we saw there. All right, let's try Instagram. Dodgers3510, you're always here, so I like talking to you. Will the Dodgers clinch the division by next week? I don't want to say that. You know what? I like making predictions, but with this Dodgers team, I think this is going to be something that's going to go to the end of the year. I know that I would love to be able to say, yeah, by next week they're going to be in first place. But all I've ever said to everybody, you've been here, Dodgers 3510, I know you have. And we've been saying September 15th. Let's talk again when where they are at September 15th, and then we can kind of decide whether or not we're in panic mode or if we are where we're going to go from there. So I don't want to say that it has happened, that they're going to be in first place, but I hope so, and I think so. They're starting to look like the team of last year, and now is the right time for that to happen. So I think it's very possible, but I don't want to say it is going to happen, because then you're going to hold me to it and you're going to give me a bunch of crap if it doesn't happen, and I don't want that. You don't want that, because then you won't trust me ever, and that's not what we want. Dad Dude Carlos on Periscope. What'd you think of Kenley's performance? All right, well, Kenley's performance was shaky at best, okay? So I know, look, Lake Show, I get it. A win is a win is a win. I'm totally with you. I've been saying it. A win is a win is a win. That's exactly what I'm happy about. However, Kenley's performance, I started off talking about it a little bit. Kenley, I don't like seeing closers in non-safe situations, period. But when I see a closer in a non-safe situation 2 games in a row, which means he may not be available tomorrow night, because you don't normally see a closer or any reliever 3 games in a row. He had around 30 pitches tonight. He had 10 last night. That's too many pitches for a closer. He's not going to, most likely you do not see him tomorrow. And if we're in a game where it's a 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th and we're in the lead and you need Kenley Jansen, hopefully he's available to pitch, but he might not be, and then we have to go to somebody like Alex Wood, or you saw Kenta Maeda go into an inning in the 3rd, I believe he had today. So it's going to be somebody else. Robert J. Behrens, because this goes with this, maybe let Urias close a game on Facebook. No, Urias is not going to be closing a game. He's a slow starter. He hasn't had that yet. We haven't even seen him in a game yet in the major leagues. So if Urias does come in, it's got to be, this would have been a game for him to come in, right? It would have been in a game where it's 8-1, and in the 7th inning it's 8-1, and you're doing all right. Then that's where I would like to see Urias. I don't want to see him in a tight, high leverage situation, because you don't know what's going to happen, because you don't know who he is right now. So let's move on from there. All right, let's check it over on YouTube. YouTube, I got a whole bunch of you here tonight. I love it. Is it just me or can't hear you? I had some problems early on. Sorry, no audio, no volume. It's the mute. Yeah. All right, Cam Riddle. I know we're going to move away just from the Dodgers for just 1 second. You saw my UCLA Cup. Fresno State 48, UCLA 14. Cam Riddle, you're crazy, man. No way. The UCLA offense is getting better, and Fresno State lost over the weekend, okay? I don't want to see you coming on here talking any crap to me when you just lost to, I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't any good team. You're supposed to be in the top 25, and you're losing to that. This is going to be a good game. I'm calling 28-24 UCLA, and I'll make that bet. No, actually, I won't make that a bet. If Mason or Ireland, if you're watching, I'm not making that bet. I don't bet on my team, so I'm not doing that. Do not take that. I'll take that W, yep. Are you feeling more confident against right-handed pitching or left-handed pitching heading into the close of the season? It's a great question, Cam. I'm very confident against anybody. This lineup, top to bottom, is one of the best that you can really find. They've all been there before. So they've all done most of this team has been in the World Series in Game 7. They know how to win. When is the time to win? We're not going to talk about Game 7. We're not going to talk about that others, but they've been there before, and that's a huge, huge deal for anybody, because they know they've been there. When you have those guys that don't know, that's when they start. Like if Verdugo makes the roster, right? Then Verdugo hasn't been there. Maybe he's not as strong. Maybe he comes out and he's this great player in the playoffs. We don't know, but I trust the guys that have been there before. But I love it. I love seeing, especially against a left-handed pitcher, I love seeing Taylor at the top. Taylor, Turner, Machado, 1, 2, 3. I want to see Bellinger in that 4th spot almost every day. I know he doesn't hit lefties the best, but I do think that he does really well. I think he's been one of the best hitters, and he's turned into such a different guy. Where with 2 strikes, he's not the guy that's a free swinging guy that's gonna try and hit home runs every time. I know he had that huge swing that he went for the fences today, but he ended up getting a single because he tightened up and he shortened up his swing and he just got a single. That's what he's doing. And if you have Turner and Machado on base, which they do a lot recently, then you want a guy like Bellinger, if he has 2 strikes on him, to shorten his swing and just bring the guys home. That's a huge thing. I don't care if it's a lefty or a righty. He knows how to get hits when it's the right time. I want to see Bellinger there. And I want to see Dozier not really playing anymore. I think he went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 tonight, and now he's 1 for his last 33, something like that. It's just nuts. All right, let's go back over to Facebook. Facebook says, go Fresno State Bulldogs. Get out of here. All right, you think the last 3 games against the Rocks is going to decide the NL West? Also, are you glad the last 3 games are at home versus the Rocks? I like playing at home better than on the road, especially when you have to go to Coors. I don't like playing at Coors, but the Dodgers just took 2 of 3 in Coors. And they have guys like Kershaw and Buehler that actually pitch well in Coors Field. For some reason, this Dodgers team this year is right around 500, a little bit above 500 at home, and they just don't seem to play as well at home. But they have been. It's all starting to change. You can see. Against the good teams, they're playing up and down to their competition. And against teams like Cincinnati and the Mets, they're losing. And against teams like against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and now the Cardinals, they're winning these games. So it's just one. Ricky Kusiyanagi, who are you going against after St. Louis? It's the Rockies. We have the Rockies at home on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's a huge, huge series. So having 7 in a row against the St. Louis Cardinals, who are right in front of us in the wild card, and 3 who's right in front of us in the NL West and the Rockies, this is a very big make or break. If you were listening to the Mason and Ireland show today on Fast Track, Mason asked, are we going to see, is the NL West going to be wrapped up by one team or another by the 20th? No. I said no, and Mason agreed with me, actually. He thought the same thing. It's not going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. These 2 series are huge, but I do think it's going to go all the way down to the wire. Lisa Jones, Greg, do you know if Kenley... you're going away. I can't see it anymore. Hold on one sec. It's on Facebook. Lisa Jones, there you are. Lisa Jones, Greg, do you know if Kenley started taking his meds again? He looks like he did when he first came back, and I read that doctors told him he should. I have not read whether or not he has, but I believe he is not going to take those meds anymore because it brought him down. I think he didn't play. He didn't even go to Colorado, so he didn't even get into a game until yesterday from the week before, because he didn't go to Colorado, and then they went to Cincinnati, and he met up in Cincinnati. They lost the first 2 games, so he wasn't able to pitch. So I understand him getting in there on in the game yesterday. I didn't like him in the game today, though. But I think as you saw, as it got later on in the inning, you could see that he was spotting his pitches better. You could see the cut movement on his fastball. You could see he was heading about 92 to 94. It was a better Kenley Jansen, and that's why he got out of it. I mean, he got the ground balls that he was looking for. So you want the strikeout or the ground balls. You don't want anything in the air. All right, Brian Hatfield. How old are you, Greg? I am 35 years old. That is, you can call me young or you can call me old. I feel like I'm extremely old because I'm a baseball fan like all of you, but I'm not that old. All right, here's Lake Show 824 on Periscope. Greg, Mason was right today. Rockies' walk-off home run was a little disconcerting yesterday. Look, that was tough. DJ LeMahieu had a huge, huge home run in that game last night. There's 2 ways to look at it, right? So you can look at it as the Rockies walked them off and they pushed it up to a game and a half, or they kept it at a game and a half. Or you can look at it as they just knocked Arizona by beating Arizona again today. Arizona is now 4.5 back of the Rockies. So they're just getting pushed further and further back. They're basically out of it now with 4.5 out, right? I mean, they're kind of done. They still have to play. They still have to play the Dodgers. They still have Houston, and they still have. I think they still have the Dodgers again. They have a tough schedule coming up here. I think they're basically done. 4.5 back, and you're done. Bro, you don't look 35. Tayed 311. I love 311, by the way. But Tayed, how old do I look? I get these whole different things. Sometimes I look like I'm 35. Sometimes people say I look 28. Some people say I look 42. I just went on vacation and I went up to this camp that I love a ton. And my girlfriend is 28. And this guy who's in his 60s sat next to me at us at dinner, and we're sitting there talking. And all of a sudden he looks at me and he goes, "So this is your daughter, right?" I almost lost it. I'm not that old. This is crazy to me. Telling me that my 28-year-old girlfriend looks like my daughter. Get out of here. I don't look like I'm 50. Jeez, just tough. All right, let me go over to YouTube because I know you guys are on there just fighting for it to talk to me. As you're not really, but you know the fight is for me, just in my mind. More of Cody and Yasiel. I don't know so much about Yasiel. I mean, he gets hits at times. I don't know the whole licking the bat thing. I like him. I don't like he does things in the outfield that kind of drive me a little bit crazy. He'll do things that get knocked off his leg, and then he throws a guy out at third, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at the gun on him." Yeah, but if it didn't not get knocked off his leg, then you wouldn't even have to do that. I don't like it. Thanks for the back and forth with Fresno and UCLA. By the way, you're a good dude. Hey, thank you. I don't mind. I'll talk whatever you guys want. I'm happy to answer all your Dodger questions because that's why I'm here. But if you bring up something else, I'm happy to talk about that too. Because why the hell not? You're here to talk to me, and we're having a conversation. And all conversations don't just revolve around the Dodgers. That's just not how it works. But this is a situation where you don't get to do this every day, right? You don't get to come on and actually see the person that you're talking to and have them talk directly to you. Go sit on hold and not get on, and then say your question is stupid or whatever. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Have fun, or go watch a channel that has post game, and they don't even talk to you. They don't even know if you're alive or not. I'm talking directly to you. I'm looking at you on Instagram. I'm looking at you on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Periscope. That is how this works, and that's why it works so well for me. All right, let's try Instagram. I haven't talked too much to Instagram. Why isn't Kike Hernandez not a starter? He's too good to be a utility player, just saying. I mean, you're going to see that he was also 0 for 7 coming into this game, but he had been playing really well. It's because here's the thing. You're talking about a team that is analytic based, and we talk about this all the time on this post game, right? You have a team that is analytic based, and they're going to play lefties against the righty pitcher. They're going to pitch the righty pitcher. They're going to play righty batters against the lefty pitcher. There's only a couple guys that get to play every single day, and those guys are Justin Turner and Manny Machado, and you're talking about two of the best hitters in the game. So those are the two guys that are going to be there every single day. Everybody else is going to be matchup based. How have you done against them in the past? How have you done against them recently? What are your numbers against lefties? What are your numbers against righties? That's just how this team and this management works. So you're not going to see Kike every day. He's a righty. You're only going to see him against lefties, and he just drills lefties, and that's what's going to happen. So let's see. Let's talk USC hopefully pounding the Longhorns. See, I disagree, Andrew Ian Wilson. I hope that USC walks into Texas and gets just destroyed. Love you too, Gio. You just hope that they get destroyed. I want to see USC lose every single game by 35 points. And if you're a UCLA fan, you want to see the same thing. All right, Rafael Santiago, Greg, off topic, Triple G or Canelo? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a huge boxing guy. I don't know enough about it. Everybody that I hear talking about it on the station, when you're talking about like George Sedano, Mike Pearson, Raj Grobes, Michael Thompson, who all love boxing, all those guys, they love Canelo in this fight. I don't know. Triple G has been the best fighter for a very long time from what I understand. So I'm backing Triple G. I think he's the guy that's probably going to win. And also, didn't Canelo have the whole drug incident? I don't know. I'm not into Canelo for that. Let's see. I went to UCLA. That's right. Robert Barron's a big fan of yours now, too. Let's see. You remember the 95 NCAA championship and Tyus Edney game winner versus Mizzou? I remember that series more than I remember anything, Brian Hadfield. That was a game that I was sitting at home with my dad, and we were sitting there, and my dad was hunched up on his seat, and he was staring at his hands on his fists, and I'm sitting there. He banged his hands on the table so loud when Tyus Edney hit that shot over the big tall dude from Mizzou. I jumped up and I landed right on my ankle. I almost broke my ankle. It was sprained for weeks. I wasn't able to play in my hockey game the next day. It was a whole big thing. That was one of the best moments of my life, minus my daughter being born, because I have to throw that in there. Will we see these matchups in the postseason also? Jay Sanchez, all right, on Periscope. You'll see a lot of these matchups. For the most part, I don't see why they're going to stop going with what works. I hope that they start going with who are the hot bats against everybody. And that's going to be a big storyline once they do make it to the playoffs, because everybody's going to be wondering the same thing. Are we going to see the lefties against the right-handed pitchers? Are we going to see the righties against the left-handed pitcher? Are you going to see the righty lineup that everybody hates? I understand. It worked tonight. I mean, it worked the last time out too. It's worked a couple times. That's the way that Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi think. And I'm not bringing in Dave Roberts because he just kind of discusses with them. I don't think he actually does anything. I think that, so you're going to see this happening a lot, and it's going to be a big storyline as we get into the postseason, because there's a lot of times where you're going to want to see Cody Bellinger. You're going to want to see Max Muncy. Those are the guys that you're going to want to see. And you want to see, you're like, Taylor's so hot, you got to play Taylor here. I believe they're going to play the matchups. I don't agree with it, but that's what you have to kind of understand and realize that that's what they're going to do, and just kind of be okay with it. I don't really like it either, but that's just kind of how it is, unfortunately. Remember, follow me on Twitter at BergmanGreg. We're about halfway through. And now we're going to go back to Facebook and see what else we got going on here. Do you think was exciting as hell? Oh, man, it was the best. A's and Astros as wild cards. There's a lot of... The wild card is getting all crazy right now. You guys keep wanting to talk about UCLA. I mean, I will. That's fine. But the 95 UCLA championship, proof you can win it all with a terrible coach. Jim Herrick wasn't a terrible coach. I can't. I mean, he did a lot of things wrong where he's paid a lot of guys and he got fired because of it. But he wasn't such a terrible coach. Steve Lavin, on the other hand, that was a terrible coach. Poor Greg, that would be me. Yes, that would be me. I know we don't like talking about it too much, but I'm not poor Greg. Let's see. How do you feel about Buehler versus Flaherty? Look, I like Buehler versus everybody. I think this kid has absolutely got it. Ryan Orion Montez on Facebook. Buehler's got it. He has the power. He can throw 97 to 99 whenever he feels like it. He can bring it down into the low 90s when he feels like he needs to drop in velocity a little bit. And he's not just throwing. And I know Oral Hershiser talks about it all the time. He's not just throwing. He is pitching. He is locating his pitches. He's hitting 99 and finding his spots. Not as often, but he's finding his spots at the same time. I love Buehler, and I think he's going to be the ace of the staff and win a Cy Young at some point in his career. So just remember, I think that Buehler is going to be a good player for a long time. So Buehler versus Flaherty, I don't care. I love Buehler, but even though Flaherty is a very good pitcher. Is it ridiculous to think Doc letting Kershaw pitch less innings to save energy for playoffs? Lakers show, Periscope, Kershaw is an interesting guy, right? Where he is going to be somebody that he goes out when he kind of feels like going out. I don't think it's up to him. I think that he is... Tonight, he had to come out. He was giving up hits. He was walking guys. He looked great through 5 innings, right? Or 4 innings at least. He looked great through 4 innings. He was around 67 pitches coming out of 4 innings. And he was spotting his pitches. He had 8 strikeouts. He was locating his pitches. He was using the curveball nicely. Sometimes it just barely missed the top of the zone. But he was still he was locating. He was doing what he is going to be when you expect him to be that guy. He is all of a sudden become just a Greg Maddux type that is going to be somebody that no matter, even though he throws 90 to 91, 89 to 91, he's still locating, and he's going to be the ace of the staff for a while. I don't think it's going to be an issue for him for a while. And you never know. Look, guys, you've seen it all. These top pitchers, they have a couple years. He had the back issues. He had a couple years where, his velocity dips and he's not the same guy. And then all of a sudden, he turns 32, 33 years old, and he's throwing 95, 96 again. I don't want to say what it is. I don't know what it is. Justin Verlander did it. I mean, he was 32 years old throwing 92 miles an hour, and was getting just batted around. And all of a sudden now this year he's getting 95, 96 with no problem. And he has an ERA around 2 and a WHIP around low 1s. That's just nonsense. It doesn't make much sense, but it's happening. And so that's what's going to happen with Kershaw too. And even if he doesn't, he still has learned to be that location pitcher. And let's say he does get his velocity back. Then that velocity with the location that he's figured out, he's just going to get better. He's 30, and like someone said, he's only 30, exactly. But the J9 Mama on Instagram, yes, he's only 30, but the velocity has dropped. This is his 11th year in the league, and he's only 30. So you know what? Something's got to give there. Hopefully the back issues are gone for him, though. All right. Let's see. Verlander married Kate Upton. Well, I mean, that's going to get anybody. He's juicing. No, nobody's juicing. I'm not. Until that's out, that's not happening. All right. Let's check it out on Instagram. You think Kershaw is going to opt out? We've been talking about it on Mason Ireland a bunch, and we'll talk about it from now on, too. Here's the thing. I don't think he opts out. I mean, if he continues to pitch this way, with the low velocity, I don't think he opts out. And even if he does, I still think you give him a 4-year deal. If he doesn't, then I think you give an extension to 4 years. You don't let him go if you don't have to. I understand he's a guy that only pitches once every 5 games. I understand what he does in the playoffs. I mean, he went to the NLCS last year, and he went to the World Series 2 years ago, and the World Series last year. It's getting better. He had a bad time in Game 5, absolutely. But it's all getting better. Let's see. Would you want Kate Upton to be your wife? No. You know what? I wouldn't. That's Justin Verlander's girl, and I actually really love my girlfriend. She is fantastic. She is someone that understands me doing this. I leave her for entire days to come and sit and watch Dodger games and then talk to you guys for an hour, and she's totally fine. We got 2 kids, and she's happy and being fine watching and hanging out with my kids, her kids and my kids. She's fantastic. She's the best. I'm happy with what I have, and Kate Upton is very, very attractive, but that's not always everything. And also, my girlfriend's extremely hot too, so whatever. Run support for our starters is the key down the stretch. Yes, well, and that's been part of the problem, Jeremy on Facebook. Yeah, that's been part of the problem, right? It has been our starters have been the best in the National League. Go look it up. Go look up anything you want. The Dodgers have the best starting pitching in all of the National League, and I think they're top 3 in all of baseball, somewhere around there. I haven't looked for all of baseball, but in the National League, number 1, and they're doing exactly what you want, and you just need some run support, and they're getting the runners on base. They were striking out a lot. But now they're getting the guys on base, and all of a sudden the bats are finding the ball and they're finding the holes. Look what's been happening over the time. You've seen this team become a team that they've been hitting the ball hard the entire time. It's just right at guys. And eventually, baseball is a game that just eventually those hard-to-hit balls start to land. We're starting to see it landing. Hopefully it keeps up, because it hasn't really been something that's keeping up. But I think it can keep up because the guys are getting hot at the right time. You want guys hot in the middle of September. You don't want them hot in the middle of June. I mean, you do, but you still want them going strong through. Tyson Ross homer off Kershaw. Kershaw gives up home runs sometimes. I don't know. But, I mean, he got hit. This has happened to him a couple times. Guys just misplayed balls in the infield, and he ended up giving up an unearned run. He gave up 3 earned, but he also gave up 1 unearned because the guys just dropping balls everywhere. It's crazy. And I don't know hanging with Mike. Go Rockies. Who are you and what are you doing here? I think you're just in a little bit of the wrong place here. It's just a little odd. I don't know, man. Like, go Rockies. You are in the wrong spot. I will talk with you, though. If you give me a reason why after the series with the Dodgers, where the Dodgers in Colorado took 2 of 3, tell me why you're saying go Rockies. I know you're a fan, and that's great, but give me a reason. Ruben, too, sausage, which they don't call me sausage jeans anymore. Let's get rid of the sausage thing. I get it. It's funny. However, sausage, the way our pitchers are going very good, some offense will take us to the playoffs. Yeah, and that offense is going to start happening. I'm totally fine with that. 28-23 Cincinnati. We're not talking about Cincinnati. I don't care about Cincinnati. The Rockies can suck a toe. Yeah, I'm with you. The Rockies can suck a toe. All right, let me see what's going on over on YouTube. I haven't talked to them in a little bit. Andrew Martinez, what's up, buddy? Here, checking in, bro. Hey, I love when you're here because you're always here and you're a strong presence here. Will Buehler have postseason jitters and hurt us? That's a scary thought to believe in him, and it hurts us so soon. This pitching is rough. This pitching is not rough. I don't think this is something that Walker Buehler is going to get into his head. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that Walker Buehler is a guy that just gets it. And he's not just a guy that's just throwing 100 miles an hour. He's actually pitching. And I think with how he pitches against guys, he pitches well in Colorado, which is weird. A lot of guys don't. Kyle Freeland's that way, too, for Colorado. He pitches really well. He pitched great for them tonight. Or this morning, actually. But so I think that he is going to be a guy that's going to be great. I see him as the number 2 starter. Kershaw, Buehler, Hill, and Stripling now. Ryu got batted around a little bit. He actually looked pretty good for the most. It was all right. But Stripling has looked good, so I think those are your top 4. I don't think Ryu's going to be the guy in the postseason. Why was Alex Wood pushed to bullpen? Because he doesn't pitch well against Colorado, and he doesn't pitch well against the Diamondbacks, and those are the guys in front of us. So you want to pitch the guys in front of us that are the better pitchers. And he doesn't, and he just has been a little bit iffy as of late. He didn't have a good last outing, so I think the best place for him is to be in the bullpen, which is why I thought Stripling was better in the bullpen and Maeda was better in the bullpen. We've been talking about it since the beginning of me doing this. It's going to be who's pitching the best in September. We are now in the middle of September, and whoever is pitching the best is going to be in the postseason starting rotation. And right now, the guys that are pitching the best are Rich Hill, Clayton Kershaw, and Ross Stripling. And Walker Buehler. Those are the guys. Those are the guys. Oh my God, no. Andrew Martinez, are you really going to do it? I have a tattoo appointment October 3rd for Mason, Ireland. Oh, you're just bananas. Oh, good for you, though. Come on in. Hang out for Fast Track. That's the way that we're going to be doing it from now on. And I saw somebody on Twitter just say, wait, you're a 311 fan? Yes, I love 311. I've been to probably about 10 to 12 concerts. I've been to Vegas multiple times to watch them at the Four Seasons. Actually, it was down below at the Mandalay Bay in the pool. It was awesome. I love going to 311 concerts. They are the most fun concerts I have ever been to. So whoever's talking to me there, yes, I'm a huge 311 fan. I can answer you about that on Twitter in a little bit. Remember, at Bergman Greg. At Bergman Greg on Twitter. I talk to everybody because who am I? And I love talking to you guys. And we like talking sports. And we talk UCLA and we talk the Dodgers, and it's fun. All right, let's see. Rafael Santiago on Facebook. And by the way, Daniel Cortez, hello, how are you? Give us some hearts. Give us, the thumbs up, all that stuff, saying that you like the show. Greg, I actually believe the second best acquisition behind Machado is Freese due to his playoff experience. What do you think? I think that's a great point. Rafael Santiago, that is a great point. I love what Freese has brought to this lineup. I love what Freese has done especially today. That first inning at bat was exactly what you want from a guy like David Freese. He took 14 pitches from the starter in the first inning and went to 28 pitches in the first inning for Gomber. That's a huge deal. And so to have a guy like David Freese be able to do that and then still stroke a double, who had a game-winning home run in the World Series for the Cardinals, yes, that's a guy that has all of this. And it's and so like he does great against lefties, and he has the postseason experience. He's a guy that can be a good clubhouse presence. Love the David Freese pickup. And I think it's right around with that Machado one too. I'm a Beautiful Disaster. Yeah, you know what? My favorite album right now is the Mosaic album, by the way. That album is just fire from top to bottom. There's not one song on that I don't like. It's fantastic. So I'm hoping, Cam, you're bringing up old school 311. So if you like Beautiful Disaster, go listen to Mosaic if you haven't, because it's the best album I think they've put out. All right, let's see. This is a good one. It's a long one. I don't know if you've answered this question before. If you have, my apologies. But if you think, I have not. Do you think Peterson's recent post on Instagram is hint that Manny will sign with the Dodgers? Manny is going to say whatever Manny wants to say to be on this Dodgers team, because right now this is the time to be with the Dodgers. Like you're with the Dodgers now, so you're going to say whatever it is you need to say. Here's the deal with Manny Machado, and we have to all agree and realize this. He's going to be a guy that's going to get $300 to $400 million, and it's probably going to be from the Yankees or from the Phillies or a team like that. I don't know if the Dodgers offer that much money for him. If they do, I say you take him. However, the Yankees are probably going to be, and I mean, they're kind of stocked at shortstop and third. Gleyber Torres is a beast. And Didi Gregorius is really good too, so I don't know what they're going to do, but if they can get Machado, they're going to take him. But I think that they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to spend more money than I think we will. I think he's leaving, and he's going to just say whatever we need him to say to be with the Dodgers right now. I would love for him to be back. I just don't believe it, and I'm glad that you grew up on 311. That's but Freese has been very solid. I agree. Thank you, Cybernetic Slayer. You understand. Let's go back over here. Next year, if we sign Machado, do we move Turner to first or Seager to second? Wondering what ideas you're hearing. Clay Kitchen, Facebook. I don't believe you move Turner at all. I think he's one of the best third basemen we have. I know Seager, I can see moving to second more so than anybody else. If you sign Machado, he is your shortstop. However, we need to understand they're going to play matchups, and they're going to move Turner, and they're going to move Seager, and they're going to move. That's a good thing to have, but Cody Bellinger is your best. If you want the best lineup you can possibly have, if Seager figures out second base, which I honestly believe he can, your best infield is Turner at third, Machado at shortstop, Seager at second, and Bellinger at first. That's your best infield you can possibly have, and I believe that to the day I die. That is the best one you can possibly have, and I think that's what they're looking for. I think you start making some moves and making some trades. However, I think that I just don't expect to see Machado back in a Dodgers uniform next year. It's just not what I think. Can you get the schedule changed next year so we don't have 7 back-to-back red seats staring at us? Reds and Cards. Seeing red, oh, I don't have control over any of that, but I would love that. I hate red teams. All red teams. There's not one red team in all of sports. I don't care what it is. Name a red team. I hate them. It doesn't matter. I don't care who they are. There's not one red team. If you can find one, more power to you. But I hate all red teams. I am all blue, purple, black, whatever. But I do not like red at all. USC, the Angels. There's just too many. The Red Wings were terrible. The Cardinals. Just get the red teams out of my face. The worst. Awesome. My thoughts the same. Thanks and great job as always with the postgame. Hey, happy that you're enjoying it. What starting pitching is our strongest moving forward for the last push? Ruben Sarinana Jr. Ruben, the best is, and I've said it a bunch of times, but is Kershaw 1, Buehler 2, Hill 3, Stripling 4. Boom, done. If you want to move to a 5-man rotation, they're going to put Ryu in the 5th spot. But that's it. Those are your 4. Those are the most important 4. Jeremy Ross, we're going to need a catcher. Do we sign Grandal again? If he takes a small deal, Grandal's a guy, he's so hot and cold. He's got the catching yips where he drops everything. He's actually mid-level when it comes to, he's like 15th, 16th in the league when it comes to pass balls and wild pitches and that kind of thing. However, he's dropping everything at home and it's tough to watch. However, I think that, U.S. men's national team wears red. God, you had to find one. I had a whole thing with the red teams, and you took it away from me, Joe. Joe Schmo, you took it away. Whatever. That's right. I'll give it to the national team because that's the national team. Fine. They also wear blue, too, so it's fine. All right. But do you have enough catchers? So you have Keibert Ruiz in AA, and you have Will Smith in AAA. Keibert Ruiz in Tulsa has been fantastic, especially in the playoffs. He just had a walk-off single, and I think he had a home run and a walk-off. I think that Keibert Ruiz is going to be a guy that's going to be strong for this team in years. I don't know if he's ready next year, but Austin Barnes. Everybody hates Austin Barnes because of what he was. We've been talking about it for about a month now. Austin Barnes has been seeing much more. He's seeing a lot more pitches. He's getting on base more. Over the last 30 days, he has an over 350 on base percentage, and that's what you want from your catcher. And he does a lot of the little things that you need. Barnes has been he had 2 hits tonight. I like what Barnes has been doing, and you can see his at-bats have changed. He's taking 8 to 10 pitches in his bats. He's being patient at the plate. He takes walks when he needs to. He had 2 hits tonight, Ricky. There's a lot of things that he's been doing. Barnes, he's not there yet, but he's becoming the guy that you need behind the plate, just like he was last year when he took over starting spots from Yasmani Grandal. And Barnes is going to get the lefty pitchers. Just how it's going to be. I mean, he didn't tonight. It was Grandal tonight. Oh, no, it was Barnes. Sorry, it was Barnes tonight, and he got 2 hits tonight. Barnes, can we just say, can Barnes be Clayton Kershaw's everyday catcher just like A.J. Ellis was? Barnes is now I'm happy with what Barnes is doing. He's been getting better. Let's see. 3rd, Turner, shortstop. Machado, 2nd, Seager. 1st, Muncy, Bellinger, outfield. Exactly. I'm totally with you there, and that's what we're talking about. Muncy, I guess you have to put Muncy somewhere, but I don't know. I think Muncy could be a flash in the pan. I hope not, but if he is, then Muncy can play first at times, but he's He scares me. He seems like a guy that next year is not going to be the same guy. I hope so. And then Bellinger in the outfield I'm fine with. I like the catchers that's in minor league. Yeah, the catchers in minor leagues are actually really good. How many wins for the Lakers? Ooh, that one's tough. I'm going to be a little more conservative than the other guys. I think they're going to be better. Anytime you get LeBron James on your team, you're talking 45, 50 wins off the bat. So I'm going to say 48 wins. It's going to be right there at the playoffs. I think they do make the 8th seed. Everyone's talking about this 3rd seed. I would love for that to happen. I think it just needs a little bit more time. I'm a huge Laker fan. I was actually just going. Me and my brother were on the phone the other day, and I was talking about, we were going over the 2000 lineup. Could we name the 2000 lineup plus who was on the 2000 Trailblazers, and then the 2001 who was on the roster for the Sacramento Kings. We were going back and forth on it. It was a lot of fun. So love the Lakers. I just don't. 50 wins seems about 48 to 50 wins is where I'm going. Dodgers do need to keep the chemistry. Do we really want to trade players? You're going to trade some players. I mean, they have too many guys, and there's too many guys at every position. Dozier, I mean, I could see him re-signing, but I think he's gone. We should re-sign Freeze for like $3 million. Hey, look, if you can re-sign Freeze to be a guy off the bench, absolutely. Shout out Bergman. What's up, Robert? I think that, Freeze could be great off the bench. I would love to see him there. But that's going to be taking away from somebody else. You have so much depth right now. Guys are going to have to move. It's just an inevitability. And you're going to want to go after a couple different guys. 2018 has a lot, this offseason is going to have a lot of big names. And you're going to see some movement. I mean, Manny Machado is one of those names. Bryce Harper is another one of those names. There's a lot of big names right there. Oh, I see something from Village Idiot, and usually it's something great, so I'm going to read it. If we trade Muncy in the offseason, can we get a good player or prospect in return? Oh, Village Idiot, that was a question. It's a good question. I was expecting something nice from you. You terrible. Oh, I'm sorry you don't like me, Dodgers kid. I think most people are enjoying it. But if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. Then you can go wait on hold for an hour. Anyway, Muncy, can you get something in return? Right now is the time to get something for him in the offseason. I mean, people may see it because they're going to see his numbers, and they're going to see his overall numbers. You're going to see over 30 home runs. You're going to see his OPS that's around 900. And you're going to see he hits lefties and righties well, even though the Dodgers don't like playing him against lefties. But he does hit everybody well, so I think that you can. Yes, I think if you can trade Muncy for something, for some value, you can get some value for it because anybody can hit 20 home runs, but not everybody can hit 35. So I think that there's a guy that Muncy could get you some good value, and maybe something in the bullpen, or maybe it's another starting pitcher. It's a lot. So I think you can possibly do something. All right, we got 10 minutes left, and I only have a little bit of time left on my Instagram. I forgot to charge my phone, so it's going to die soon. So I'm going to try and get as many questions in as I possibly can. All right, sell Muncy while hot for bullpen or back end starter help. Yeah, that's kind of what that's kind of the thought. But right now, let's just hope he does the best. Oh, look at this. David A. Smith, Muncy, Verdugo, and Santana for DeGrom. Muncy, Verdugo, and Santana for DeGrom. I'm going to tell you right now, the Mets laugh in your face. They are never, ever doing that trade. No chance in hell. They're going to re-sign him. He's going to be... Look, DeGrom's agent came out and said exactly what's going to happen. Either re-sign my guy or trade him. And if they were going to trade him, they would have already done it. They're going to re-sign him. He's going to sit there. I like the waves. Hello, Samantha Rodriguez. Hello. Greetings from Panama. Panama! Look at you listening from Panama, Charisse. I like that. All right, let's check it out on YouTube. Best place to buy Rams ticket, cheapest. I mean, you got to just go bouncing around all the different sites. There's a lot of good ones. I get Rams tickets from the station. I don't buy anything at all, actually. I try and be as stingy as possible because I have a lot. I try and save my money for the things that matter. And going to a game, and when I can get it from work, not one of those things. People saying SeatGeek. Yep, SeatGeek works. There's a lot of them that do. Starting pitching isn't a big issue as Penn. All right, Brian, you were talking about a lot of funds, but here's the thing. This bullpen, since August, has been top five or better in all of baseball. Not just in the National League, in all of baseball. This bullpen is one of the best pens in baseball, and you have to remember that. I know we all look back and we think, God, they gave up runs in the ninth. Oh, they gave up all these, they blew it in so many different times. It's now, right now, they are a very good bullpen, and they really do not give up a lot of runs. Every once in a while, a guy like Ryan Madson comes in a blowout and he gives up more runs. But those are going to happen. When it counts, they don't give up a lot of runs. They gave up a couple tonight. That was mostly Kenley Jansen in a non-save situation for the second night in a row when he shouldn't be there for the second night in a row. So I don't like that. No chance. Mets will want our whole farm system for DeGrom and probably Syndergaard. Exactly, Clay. They're going to want a ton for DeGrom. He's going to be 31, 32 years old. Can you say hi to me, Samantha? Hello, Samantha Rodriguez. I'm saying hi to you now, and you have the the little thing going there. So, hello. Would you agree first to 90 wins will win the division? Oof. You know what? I would love to be able to say that, but now the Dodgers have 80 wins, and the Rockies have, I believe, 81 and 2 less losses is what I believe. I believe they're 81 and 65, somewhere around there. That my math might be a little bit off, but they are, so first to 90 is not going to do it. I think it's going to come down. Maybe it is 90, but I think it's really going to depend on the head-to-heads that's going to come up next week. You have 3 games in LA against the Rockies. That's where it's really going to make a difference. It's going to be a big deal, and so it's not going to be the number of wins so much as who just wins that series. And this series over the weekend, because the Rockies just have to go to San Francisco, and San Francisco hasn't been that good, although they do usually play them pretty tough. What's up, Bergman Greg? You're the man. Hey, thanks a lot, Danny Polito Gutierrez. You're the man, too. I'm the man. You're the man. We're all the men and women and children alike. Let's see. If we go on a mad win streak, we can possibly catch the Rockies and maybe the Cubs for best record. And yeah, you absolutely can. Look, last I looked, I didn't see what happened with the Cubs today, but they were playing this afternoon. They were 4 games back of the Cubs. Cubs are having a little bit of tough time. I think they can absolutely come back, and it's all about how you do over this next stretch. There's only 6 games, so I think right now, if they continue to hit with runners in scoring position like they have the last 2 days, not hitting the home runs, even though Machado hit a home run and they had a home run last night, all it is that they need to get the hits and play a little bit more small ball like they have in the last 2 games. Look, 8 runs in the last 8 last night or yesterday, 9 tonight. Yeah, those are all, and mostly from just doubles and singles and just moving guys from station to station, and that's when you get that going. So I think that's going to be the bigger deal for it. So I think they can go on this big run as long as they Cubs won 4-3. Man, would love. That's too bad. But hey, look, I'm not worried about the Cubs. I'm expecting to see the Cubs in the NLCS again. And that's probably what you're going to see for the next few years. I like your show, man. Keep up the good work, even if you're insane. You know what? I'd rather be insane than be a normal, boring guy. So whatever you want. Giants have 11 losing. Jeez. The Giants are not a good team. Let's just be honest. Gave up the ghost for the season, evaluating their AAA team here on out. Yeah, but those guys, they come in and they play strong, and hopefully they can beat the Rockies at least once or twice over this weekend. God, could you imagine? The Giants just winning 2 of those games would be so good. Muncy is underappreciated, Randy. I agree with you. However, I think that Muncy is going to be somebody that he's going to get more at bats as it gets closer because they need to see him. And also, and I was told this by Steve Mason, this is the only lefty that the Cardinals have on their roster, starter. So you're going to see Muncy and you're going to see Bellinger starting games. It's going to be a lot. You're going to see Jock in the starting lineup again. It's going to be, those guys are going to play the next 3 games in a row. Just wait and see. Brewers or Cubs? I think the Cubs are better, and the Cubs win that out. If that's the question, which do I like better? I think the Cubs are going to be better. Shout out, Greg. Keep up the good work, my guy. Hey, appreciate you. Let's see. Dodgers just need to take care of business. I agree. They just need to take care of business. And this is what we've been talking about. Let's wait till Monday. Everybody gets this anger going on, and the sky is falling. And now they're only a game and a half back still of the Rockies, and they're only 1 game back of the wild card and the St. Louis Cardinals with 3 to play against the Cardinals. And you have Buehler and Hill on the mound the next 2 days. those guys have been pitching great. I know Hill has a little bit of a home run problem right now, but they're pitching really well. And then Ross Stripling has actually pitched really, really well. So I see it. I sent you a pic on Twitter. Good. I'll look at it and I'll answer you when I get to the Twitter time. I'm not there just yet. Can anyone beat Boston? They're crazy. All right, look, so many things happen. They are crazy. Boston is fantastic, and they are the favorites, right? They are absolutely the favorites to win. However, so many teams, bye, I gotta go. See you later. So many teams that once you get into the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. The Dodgers had 104 wins last year and lost in Game 7 of the World Series. There was time when the Cleveland had one of the best records and they didn't even make it out of the first round. Teams that are in the wild card and just barely sneak in and win a one-game playoff go on to win World Series. Once you get into the playoff, it's anybody's game, and their pitching, while it's good, especially with Chris Sale, David Price is getting a little bit better, and they have a really good pitching staff, and the hitting is fantastic. If it's not happening in the playoffs, then it's not happening, period. And they can get knocked out because the pitching is usually much better in the playoffs. Ryan Orion Montes, to me, that's magic. How we've managed to keep 2 games out less of first this far. Yeah, or less, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's all just, they've just been hanging around, and they've gotten better. And that's just what's happening. They're going to be, I've been saying it forever, they're going to be fine, and they're going to take this division. What do you think about the one-game playoff? Should it be a series? Oh, I would love it to be a series, but then it's too many games and it goes into November. You don't want anything outside of October. The deal, hey, happy birthday, Abe Medina. The deal is you want everything in October. Nothing should ever go into November. There's no Mr. November. It's all nonsense. It should all be, everything should happen in October, and that's what I want it to be. And then let's move into NBA. The season is long enough. We don't need to go into November as well. Dodgers will be just fine. We'll go deep in the playoffs. Thank you, Danny Polito Gutierrez. I agree with you. Let's see. Will the Red Sox pull the Mariners? It's very possible, right, Juan? That's something that could easily happen. Everything happens. I'm glad you love the show, Eugenio. Appreciate it. Thanks as always for the stream, Greg. I still believe. Go Dodgers. Thank you, Cybernetic Slayer. I agree with you. I only have about a minute left. Yep, minute and 45 seconds. So let's get as much as we can. Honestly, I'm just scared of the Cubs in the playoffs. I'm scared of them too, but I think this is going to be something you're going to see from year in and year out. Cubs, Dodgers, NLCS for a long, long time, and that's a good thing. That's a good rivalry to have. I love having a rivalry with the Cubs. I just want them to beat them again because it happens. Chris Taylor heating up. Absolutely. And it all happened after his 4-game playoff. He had 4-game layoff. He sat for 4 straight games and came in and shortened up his swing, and now he's playing much better. And, because I told him I wasn't in a love affair with him anymore because he wasn't playing well. But don't worry, Chris. I'm not going to say that my love affair is back because I don't want to jinx you, but I love you. Yeah, we're not giving up. Good. I'm glad you're not. I do not like baseball, so please talk about something else. You're coming onto a baseball stream, brainwashed. So I don't know what to tell you. But, if you want to talk about something else, follow me on Bergman Greg on Twitter, and I'll happily answer anything you want. All right. One more question. That's all I got left for you. One more question. Tell Mason Island we say what's up, and I will. Verdugo, honestly, I wanted it to be a question. Please. Let's see. These are all comments. Do I have any questions here? Give me a question. All right. Do you think part of Kershaw's demons is because A.J. Ellis isn't catching him? No, I don't think that. I think that's he loves A.J. Ellis, but I think Austin Barnes is kind of being the same guy. Great pitch framer, getting called strikes for him. So I think and there's no demons. He's been pitching fantastically. All right. Got 15 seconds. Love you guys all. Thank you for listening. I'll be back. I'm going to try and come either tomorrow or come back on probably Monday is the day I'm going to be back. And I'm going to start doing as many games as possible. All right. That's enough for me. Go Dodgers. 1 back of the wild card. And see ya. Oh, man, I ran out of time there. Sorry about that. See you guys. Talk to you next time.